Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach, and today I want to take a look at OMI Price, and I want to also talk about GaryVee's latest NFT video, where he speaks about some stuff that I think can definitely give us some idea of what other uses and what else we can see from OMI and VeVe, of course, the NFT Marketplace. Now, again, I want to make it very clear because I think people are still tuning into the channel as people who haven't seen the channel before. I am new to what I'm looking at, but I am also very, very keen to learn about what's going on here. So right now, today, the OMI price is 0.004477. Our low is 0.00432, and the high is at 0.004765. Unfortunately, it is going down. I've noticed, it's been going down over the past 7 days. Kind of, it feels like. Obviously we've had some good times, but yeah, it's definitely not doing too well. That being said, I want to really look at NFTs from Gary's perspective, how you can turn an NFT into a real world utility. I think a lot of us, especially when you're interested in NFTs, it can be difficult to explain exactly what the purpose is to many people who aren't already interested, and I think Gary goes over some really interesting points, specifically how, and he doesn't talk about OMI specifically here nor VeVe, but there are definitely practical uses that I can see VeVe implementing that Gary has spoken about in this video. So without further ado, I think he starts talking about his sort of VeFriend stuff, which is interesting here, but we're going to stop listening there because I mainly want to talk about OMI and its potential from what GaryVee is saying.
I believe the people that do the best NFT projects over the next 2 years will have disproportionate financial outcomes and legacy outcomes over the next 2 decades.
GaryVee here to talk about all things NFTs and his upcoming collection. And Gary, I want you to know I'm wearing something sparkly for 2 reasons. One, because NFTs are new and sparkly and people don't understand it. So we want to kind of explain to people. And secondly, it's Ramadan. And this is made by a designer in the Middle East, Dimayed. And Ramadan is about giving. So we want to give people the gift of knowledge.
I would love that.
Why Beautiful. Do NFTs matter? And what is all this craze about? Explain it to us.
It matters long-term because it's a technology that creates a transparent ledger which documents provenance, actual digital ownership, the actual history of a digital asset and how it navigates through the world. And as our society becomes more digital by nature, caring about things that we didn't care about 20 years ago. How many followers do we have? What did that mean 20 years ago? Do I have a blue check mark on my social media, verified? What did that matter? Our Fortnite skins, our Roblox plus.
And this is really important because a lot of us, these are things that some of us care about already, some of them, but we all have things that we care about that have sentimental value to us that don't necessarily have real world value from a monetary perspective. And of course, all that comes down to the value from the person who obviously wants to buy something. But what's going to be really interesting is to see how NFTs become one of those things where it's eventually, once it is more widely known, more mainstream, more common, people will be able to use NFTs as a sort of social identification thing anyway.
Our NBA 2K and Madden cards, our other plus-ups in mobile gamings. My 11-year-old daughter and all her friends are trying to buy up all sorts of things on their iPhone games to show, here's the key, to show the world who they are. This is about identity. This is about social currency. This is about the reason, and listen, I know the Middle East understands this the way the Americas do. People buy expensive clothes, expensive jewelry, expensive vehicles. They take photos in expensive vacations because humans are inherently communicative animals, and we communicate through our fashion or through our accomplishments. It is just the way it is. And one can take a cynical point of view on that, or one can just understand that that is the human being. I understand that that is the human being. I also understand that a decentralized server-based reality of documenting what tokens you own is going to be something that will happen. It has happened. We don't need to predict. NFTs are here. They've been here for 4 to 5 years. They are now hitting the kind of social consciousness of humanity. Today, much like we focused on search engines and browsers in early internet, today, what we're focusing on so far in early NFT mainstream knowledge is collectibles and art.
Yep.
That is true. That is a part of it. Obviously, that comes very natural to me because I am a collector at heart. I am someone who's always been fascinated in intellectual property creation. However, The far bigger impact of an NFT is the technology itself. That token has an underlying smart contract potential built into it. That contract.
So what we're going into here, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this is a separate point that is still incredibly important. For one, what Gary so far has spoken about is essentially what you own and how you sort of, how it is attached, I suppose, to your identity, how, of course, that is something you communicate through, such as if you're wearing, say, for example, a Supreme hat, designer clothing in general, or, of course, on the other side, being a minimalist, and how essentially NFTs are a good way, or are not just a good way, they are a way that humans will be able to express themselves with. And now what Gary's about to go into is the smart contract, which is of course more of a tech point of view rather than a human psychology point of view. And the smart contracts he's speaking about, I can see definitely having practical use, but you'll hear that very soon.
Can represent anything. It can represent a deed to a home. It can represent a ticket to a conference. It can represent a VIP ticket to a concert. It can represent green room access to an event. It can represent the fact that this image comes with this physical thing. You buy this NFT, I must contractually send you this in the mail. I believe that over the next decade, as people become way more educated on the smart contract part of the NFT, you will see far more explosion in its everyday use.
Again, I actually want to use Reddit as an example for what we're looking at here. So this stuff obviously is what a lot of us have been really excited about, because we of course can buy collectibles, and of course there are different uses for this. Obviously you can sell this stuff, or you can just essentially have it in your vault. People obviously will be able to put it in AR, etc. Now that's one use. However, what happens, for example, when Comic-Con is back and people are obviously enjoying all of that and there are different panels to go to, and you want to go to see the Powerpuff Girls panel because that's something you're really interested in? Well, as far as I'm concerned, what I think can actually happen is that we're going to see these NFTs right here become the tickets, if you like, to being able to access those panels. And what's even better than that is that if you buy that as a ticket, it's then something you can actually use later on, either just as a fan, you can sort of put it on a collection, whether it's in your vault or whether you use it in AR. Obviously, they want to also gamify this stuff, so maybe we'll see the Powerpuff Girls being able to fly around and all that good stuff. And because of the smart contract potential, it could be that, say for example, you want to resell this stuff, that whoever sells these, which would obviously be the licensor or whatever, they'll be able to essentially get in perpetuity royalties. So that, say for example, this is worth, I don't know, $500 or something. Well, say that Powerpuff Girls, I can't remember who licensed it, but say that they want a percentage. There you go, and that is perfect for the company. Having said that, Gary explains this a bit better, so here you go.
A certain percentage of people that are passionate about collecting things. There is all 8 billion of us that do things that are on a ledger and are contractually obligated, whether that is to buy something or to go somewhere. And I believe that that will be what happens. I believe that anybody who sells a book, a music album, access to a sporting event, a table at a restaurant, a conference ticket, a home, everyone will use NFT infrastructure in the future decades, thus making this era incredibly important, because the Amazons and eBays and Googles and Microsoft Explorer or Google Chrome, the rules are being established. About the iPhone, the early apps, there was a bunch of garbage, and there's a bunch of garbage in NFT land, but some of those early apps became the biggest companies in the world. I believe.
And of course, when he's talking about some of them being garbage, or a lot of them being garbage, and a lot of them obviously, or a few of them being the gold, I truly do believe that OMI, of course, VeVe's marketplace, the NFT marketplace, I should say in general, within VeVe at least, I think will be one of those golden ones that stand out because of the use case. Like I say, just the use case of this is huge in itself, and this is one thing. This isn't limited to Comic-Con. Let's say, for example, Travis Scott wants to put out an NFT and wants to start a concert or whatever, or wants to be in a concert, whatever. They sell their NFT to X number of people, of course, and then that NFT acts as a ticket towards Travis Scott's concert.
The people that do the best NFT projects over the next 2 years will have disproportionate financial outcomes and legacy outcomes over the next 2 decades.
So for example, you're talking about like this ticket, like let's say, for example, Expo 2020 in Dubai or Art Dubai or Art Abu Dhabi. Would they create an NFT, like bring it to life to something that we would see in the region?
There will be no reason for those two events to issue regular tickets in 2025 when everybody on earth has this knowledge. The reason is by creating an NFT, they create a derivative asset after the conference. So not only that, that asset sits in people's wallets, and just like an airplane ticket sits in my Apple wallet now,
Yep.
over time, that token is something that I can connect to and do something with. For example, if we issued the NFT now, two things happen that are better than the paper ticket or the virtual ticket that those two events are issuing today. One, immediately that becomes a digital asset. The organization in that ticket can say, if this piece of art, which is a ticket, all this is going to blend. Think about the art festival. They can make a very beautiful digital asset as the ticket. When that ticket, that piece of art, is sold in the future as a collectible, no different than a ticket to the first World Series or the World Cup. I can go on eBay right now and buy a ticket stub from the first World Cup, right?
Got it.
When that's sold, the person that owned it and eBay will make all the money. However, in the future, the people that issued the NFT will. So for example, bringing it to life, World Expo makes a beautiful ticket. It's the actual ticket, the NFT. When I, Gary, go and I have a lovely time, but then in 6 years, the artist that made that ticket became super famous and everybody wants this NFT and I sell it for $2,000, the expo makes 10% on that because it's on the ledger forever. In perpetuity, there is a royalty in the contract. That is very different than issuing a ticket. Not only
And that is why, because I've had people ask, well, why would companies want to make it an NFT? Because NFTs aren't very known. What's the point? This, that, and the other. Well, that's a huge point. It will definitely, there'll be a license in perpetuity where the royalties will essentially go towards the company, the artist, whoever. Now, personally, I'm not ready to actually make this entire video. I'm still writing it, but what is important is this right here. Twitch is a gaming gold mine with a Gen Z millennial audience that generally are nerds. I'm speaking affectionately as a nerd myself. Live streaming especially builds intimate relationships between streamers and viewers, arguably more than YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Long-form content with zero bait to entice viewers, i.e. titles, thumbnails, where people can find a clickbait. Generally, when people are watching streams, they are very intimately watching that streamer. Viewers generally watch streamer for long periods of time than in a YouTube or Instagram video simply due to the streamer and oftentimes games involved. Now, if the Twitch streamer or if the YouTube streamer or whoever decides that they're going to, as part of the paid activation most likely, if they decide to show how it works, if they decide to show how they bought this NFT and they show a Fortnite collectible on their desk, for example, on their streaming setup, the number of impressionable, let's be real, young people who are going to watch that and figure it out like that, because we know how young people can be with some of this stuff. Not just young people, obviously, but just in general, if that general market adoption becomes a thing, then of course companies are going to be even more interested in trying to use NFTs as tickets if A, people already know how to use them, and B, if they have more value. Let's be real now. Tickets have value in as much as they allow you to go to a certain place, and of course you'll be given access by showing the guard, the security guard, or whoever that you have a ticket. With an NFT, of course, there's going to be different variations of NFTs. There's probably going to be ultra rares, there'll be common, and of course there'll be all these different things. And of course, again, with the smart contract, the royalties will always go to whoever essentially sold the NFT, whether it's the artist, whether it's the company, whatever, and they'll obviously always get royalties from it. And then hopefully this number will go up by quite a bit, hopefully.
that, it's marketing. When Maha, who will do this in 20 years, if you know Maha, meets somebody important or famous or influential. Today, when we meet somebody, we look at Google and we look at Instagram to see who they are after they leave. Oh, that person was interesting. Let me look them up, right?
Yeah,
we all do it. I believe in 5 years, we will also look at Maha's public wallet to see what tokens she has. And when I look in there and see that she has 4 years worth of going to the art festival or the film festival, right, in Egypt or World Expo, that will be marketing towards me. Wow, this interesting person that I think is cool and is accomplished, they go every year to this art expo. I want to go to the art expo. There was no way to do what I just said 5 years ago.
Exactly.
There might be a photo that you put on Instagram that says you're here.
That's what I was about to say.
By the time I meet you 4 years later, I'm not seeing that photo. Whereas the public wallet will become a social currency layer. So what the expo just did by not issuing a boring QR code ticket,
And again, this is what I'm saying, is that it's just not a case of giving access to something. It's a case of it becoming a social currency and of course royalties. And there are so many things about NFTs that I'm still, and crypto in general, that I'm still trying to understand and learn, which is why sometimes videos might seem a bit basic or my understanding might seem a bit basic. It's because it is basic. I'm learning still. I'm learning, but a lot of what we're seeing here is really meshing together, tying together, and it's showing and connecting a lot of dots that I think will show for some real use cases. And of course, as we see more and more use cases for OMI, of course, it buying VeVe NFTs essentially, then of course, I think at least we'll see some more green numbers here. I'm honestly just waiting for the meme coins to die down and then hopefully we can get to business, you know?
Or a paper ticket. By doing an NFT is they've created a collectible variable that could be marketing, but it is also a financial impact on them, because as that token continues to trade, then all of a sudden they're making money in perpetuity.
I love it. Gary, thank you. I want to talk about your project, last but not least. So GARYVEE NFTs are launching on May 5th. We've been talking a lot about it, trying to educate everybody about how to create a wallet and how to do it. But tell us about your project. Why are you launching?
Okay, so I'm not going to go for this right now because we have already made a video about GARYVEE's NFT project. It's already on the channel. I posted it maybe 3 or 4 days ago, so you can check that out. But I genuinely, when I watched this, because I'm so new to this, I'm still learning a lot, and therefore, as Gary was explaining this, of course, I've been looking at the OMI price, probably I don't look at this anymore, really, to see whether or not I need to hold or sell, but that's just me. But, you know, as I'm learning more and more about this stuff, when I'm seeing more of these use cases as far as, you know, AR art is concerned, AR digital collectibles, that's one really big thing. But now I'm just starting to see so much more and more to do with NFTs. Again, I'm new. Don't judge me. That being said, I hope this video was interesting or helpful. If it was, a like is always going to appreciate it. I would also really appreciate anyone who's enjoying learning with me. Hit that sub button. I post every single day, multiple times a day at this point. So if you're interested, you know what to do. I hope this video was interesting, though. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What are your thoughts on OMI right now? Are you holding? Are you tired of it? I would love to hear your take. But with that being said, have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.